What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the stock option recap for February 17th, 2021. The Dow Jones is up 0.29%, the Nasdaq's down 0.58%, and the S&P is down 0.03%. Now, today was a pretty slow day in the market. We actually just ended up closing at pretty much the same exact price as we closed yesterday on the SPY. We came down a little bit pre-market, and the market indicators were showing that we're pretty oversold early in the morning. And I did end up getting a SPY put play somewhere around here in the morning, and I could have made a decent amount of money on that, but I just ended up selling out for about break even. But I ended up selling out of that play like 30 minutes to an hour after I bought it. The market just wasn't moving the way I would like, so I think I sold it around here at 11 o'clock, and then right as I sold it, the market started to drop more, so I could have made about $100 on that put, but I ended up only making like $4. I'm not really worried about the gains. I'm happy to just be out of it without taking a loss, but I definitely could have held for a little bit and made a decent profit on there. But after this little drop here, after I sold the contract, we kind of consolidated it and then ended up rising back up to the close of yesterday. So pretty slow day on the SPY overall. Not very big stock moves as far as options go. I was looking at Shopify this morning, and I didn't end up playing it because they came down off their earnings. Even though they had pretty good earnings, you could have scooped up these 1550 contracts for about $30, $40 this morning, and they ended up going up all the way to $400 at the top. And they ended up closing at about $90, so a pretty crazy weekly right there. Even the 1570s were kind of nuts. You could have got these for like $20, and they went up to 200 something. So pretty decent continuation plays on Shopify. I just didn't end up playing it. I know we talked about it on the watch list yesterday, but I just wasn't really about it. But that's what makes continuation plays really good, is the more expensive stocks, when they start to make bigger size moves, the farther out of the money options go kind of nuts. As you just saw in that chart, I mean, $30 to $400 is pretty insane. Another one we talked about yesterday was CCL. You could have actually double dipped in this place on the daily option. I believe these 23 calls were about $18 this morning, and they ended up going up to $1.20. So pretty insane move there on CCL. You couldn't really double dip on RCL because I just checked them, but CCL was a decent double dip. They ended up coming down a little bit this morning, but ended up just making an even bigger move than yesterday. I believe yesterday they closed at around 23, but here at the top we got to 24 and then closed at 23.20. So pretty good move there on CCL. Other than that, not many option plays. So there was news on MGM that they were going to bring back 24/7 operations at Mandalay Bay, Park MGM in the Mirage on March 3rd, and MGM actually made a pretty big move off there. You could have scooped up some option plays, like I believe these 35s, the news was somewhere around here, so you could have scooped it up for like $30, $40, and they shot all the way up to $120, so pretty crazy news play right there. But Expedia actually got the most momentum out of that news. As soon as that MGM news dropped, Expedia just started going nuts. I checked on these 155 calls for Expedia right when that news dropped, and they were about $20, $30. Then I started looking at some other stocks, went back, and they literally jumped up 200% in a minute. It was kind of insane. And then Expedia just continued to climb, and these options went all the way up to about 1,000%. They closed at $1.70, but I mean, that's still a pretty crazy move there. So that's just kind of a crazy option play off of a piece of news. As far as other important news, Roaring Kitty got sued for securities fraud. But if you don't know about Roaring Kitty, he is one of the main contributors to the GameStop, Reddit, Wallstreetbets move, whatever you want to call it. And I guess he was posing as like an amateur investor or something like that. He's actually getting sued for being a professional investor and causing this huge move in GameStop while actually acting like he wasn't even an investor at all. So it's kind of a weird situation there, but we'll definitely be hearing more about that tomorrow because we have the congressional hearing with the CEO of Robinhood, the Citadel manager, and I believe Roaring Kitty's going to be there as well. So it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. You'll definitely want to check it out on stream. We're live market open to market close Monday through Friday, so we're going to be streaming that congressional hearing live, so come check it out. We also had the Fed minutes come out today. I wasn't able to read the whole thing, but it seems like nothing has really changed. They're just not focusing as much on inflation. They're just trying to focus more on maximum employment rather than inflation, so it's really just the same stuff over and over again, but I personally have not been able to read the Fed minutes at all yet. From what I've seen from headlines, it seems like the same stuff. Now, as far as individual stock moves, MGI, MoneyGram went pretty crazy today. They're up 21%. They opened today at $9.50 and closed at $11.50, so pretty crazy move there on MGI. MGI has been kind of crazy lately ever since they got that news that they were partnering with Visa. That was like a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if that's even the news. It was either Visa or Walmart. I'm not completely positive on that. Home Depot had some pretty crazy moves today as well. They're up quite a bit, and they have earnings next week, so I'm going to be keeping my eye on Home Depot. I mean, Home Depot's not up a lot, but $6 on a day for Home Depot is a pretty big move. The stock doesn't really move that much most of the time, but I'm just mostly watching them for earnings next week. I've also been watching UGAS F because of the energy price increase from the Texas winter storms. I feel like this thing could start to go crazy. It actually made a pretty big move today. It hasn't really moved like that in quite some time, so I'm interested in this stock, but I'm just not sure if I want to play it or not. Probably just go small on there with $100, $200 if I do end up playing it, but I'm just going to be patient on that because these leverage ETFs are kind of risky. If we start to see some downside on it, it's not going to be good. But the risk to reward is there. I just didn't end up taking the trade today. As far as other plays I'm going to be looking at tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at Twilio for earnings continuation. They were pricing in about $30, and they ended up moving double the expectation. So usually when stocks make big moves like that on earnings, the continuations are pretty good. The market doesn't really know what to price in the options, and if you can get a cheap contract on there, you can usually make a quick 100, 200%, but none of these options or stocks I'm recommending right now are trades that you should be doing. I'm just trying to give you guys a good idea of what I'm looking at and how options move, so you just got to be careful. Tilray also went up off of their earnings. I'm not sure how the report actually came out, but they moved pretty big off the earnings. Not that crazy, but I wasn't really expecting them to move at all on earnings. If anything, I was expecting them to come down. So it's going to be interesting to see how the options price out on Tilray. I'm also going to be watching Walmart. They have earnings in the morning. I was going to get a play on Walmart, but they're not a big mover on earnings, but maybe they could surprise and do really well. I really wanted to play them for earnings because my theory was if the market didn't have big expectations for Walmart, and if Walmart actually did really good, they would move pretty big, but I just didn't really feel like I should be trading this for earnings. They just don't move a lot, so if they do end up beating market expectations, I believe they're only pricing in like $5. I may look for a continuation play on Walmart, but I'm mostly just going to be looking at Twilio for a continuation play. As far as that, just keep an eye on the bond yields. It seems like the bond yields going up is making the market slow down a lot. Some of these value names are getting rotated into, so it's very interesting to see how the bonds are affecting the market. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. Bitcoin hit 53K today, so that is just crazy. I can't believe how crazy Bitcoin's going. Even some of the mining company stocks are just going crazy, so just keep your eye out on that. There may be some opportunity if Bitcoin ends up coming down, but it's really not looking like Bitcoin's going to come down anytime soon. I just feel like Bitcoin's getting more and more established every single day as an actual investment, so I'm just not really expecting any downside on Bitcoin, but we definitely want to keep our eyes on that. And one more thing I wanted to point out was that the dollar had a pretty big gap up today, and in my eyes, it kind of just connects with how the market's been reacting recently. I feel like a lot of people are taking profit, but we'll have to see what happens with the dollar. The dollar should be following bond yields for the most part, but everything's kind of getting messed up right now. I'm just going to be keeping my eye on all of these indicators and being really patient because the market is slowing down a lot. There's no point in really FOMOing into anything. Just keep it slow and steady and it'll be good. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave any questions down in the comments below. Any news you guys have seen, any stocks that you guys are looking at, or any option plays that you guys have seen or are looking at as well. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.